Good morning, welcome to Vulcan's Frontier, exploring new frontiers of inspiration. We're here in the Southland hangar, ready to recall the Aurora on a journey to Lorville. In the previous session, we had a wander stroll across the surface of Hurston, absorbing expansive, enigmatic soundscapes, lightscapes, visual splendors of the megastructures just beyond the perimeter gate. In this session, however, we're having a look at observing Lorville, taking the Aurora up and landing on some of these skyscrapers and absorbing enigmatic spaces, moments of solitude as we continue the journey. A visceral connection, both appreciating the auditory and visual splendors of the verse, a precursor to our journey to Pyro. So let's begin. Recall the Aurora.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Your vehicle has been delivered.
Spectacular sight. The Aurora rising up. Hopefully, it's visible. I think perhaps we may have sent the Aurora down. Spectacular devastation, especially when the lights appear there. The Aurora delivered, ready to leave Lorville. Touchdown some of the building skyscrapers as we absorb the ambience and the essence of the journey. As you ride that wave of discovery here with this frontier, as we can see now, we're going to transition. The normal lighting turns on. It's another spectacular sight. A humble Aurora awaits for us to depart. Box Frontiers put this through a few filters, so when we hear the sounds, we treat it to the low frequency effect, coupled with our proximity to some of the systems, subsystems and engines in and around Lorville and the Aurora itself. We're ready now to board the Aurora in the very different looking Southland hangar compared to the rather aesthetic environment, the Aeroview hangars, indeed, of Hurston and Microdetail. Successfully entered the calm and reassuring aesthetic of our humble Aurora. Let's try and make sure we reduce the panning. This is a focused journey of solitude and wonder, so our intentions are to maintain that. Let's sit comfortably at the Aurora and ready to initialize the systems. There we have everything enabled, ready to capture a spectacular view beyond the verse and beyond the hangar here as we touch down some of the system, some of the buildings. Request the takeoff. It's a spectacular thing to see the opening hangar doors, a real sense of pure scale. Because the hangar doors are above us, we're able to capture, we can see the daylight coming through. So with that, let's engage the engines. Have a view outside. Retract the gear. To see the spectacular transition of the soundscapes within all this industry to the silent spectacle of Lorville. so many buildings to choose from. It's just a spectacular thing to capture the ambience, the essence of these environments. Well, we'll choose now a building to land on. It really does bring a sense of ambience, especially in and around the buildings, but also a fusion of both silence and wonder as this Aurora is nestled amongst all this industry. In and around here, such is the depth and detail of the environment. So we're going to head to one of the buildings here and see if we touch down. There's so many platforms to land on, in fact. I want to see if we can get a good view of the buildings and different perspective of Lorville. There's that particular building, one with the 10 of the pulsating hue, the signature yellow, gold-looking tone of various lights emanating from the buildings, and on to the Atlex Designs building. I think that's visible from one of the viewing just outside the L19 Habitation area. So let's see. Capture silence and wonder. A spectacular viewing space atop this particular building. Have a moment as we look, try and absorb a real sense of solitude. Outside view. Light ourselves now. Touchdown. Actually, we couldn't get an outside view. We've nestled in the expansive world here, the verse, on this Atlex Designs building. That signature building that we see from the L19 Habitation viewing platform just outside as we exit the Habitation area. It's that signature building with the pulsating lights. So we'll disable, power down the systems now. The power off. System off. Was a spectacular things, hearing the soundscape of the engines being spooled down after the silence. In the busy industrial logistics areas, workers, busy environments of both the ASOP terminal area, the Southland hangar, the rapid transit system, and now we're in a sense of total silence. Reduce the panic. In the door. Spectacular sight of seeing the Hurston Dynamics building, and just the tops of all these skyscrapers. With that Atlex Designs building in the distance, let's turn round, increase our panning slightly. Close the door. Wow, spectacular. Euphoric moment, a moment of intrigue and wonder as we gain an alternate perspective of Lorville. It's a rather tall building. It's what a spectacular thing to see. Diffusion of light, these rivets and screws, worn areas here on the painted surfaces, multi-layered systems. Spectacular environments. And depth, detail beyond these miniature details, from microdetail to macro detail. Spectacular. Addition, indeed, what does go on behind all those buildings, windows, compartments, spaces, from administration to industry, industry to habitation, all in this projection. Blade Runner moment, a digital wonder. And we can see beyond. We can see the industry in the distance, such as the expansive environment of Lorville, gaining a different perspective. Rather impressive sight. Seeing this traffic, channels of traffic going between different spaces, different districts. Different channels. Passing mass traffic to buildings ready to be constructed. You can hear a lot of traffic, but I don't see any. Visible from the viewing platform, Atlex Designs. Projected. As Stanton's light tries to get through, rays of which diffused by the highly polluted, toxic clouds. Hoping we're trying to create a visceral connection, dissolving one reality, connecting as best we can to this impressive reality. The journey before our excursion, main one to Pirate. It's just truly spectacular seeing the incredible depth, variety, detail that is in and around this entire metropolis. Hopefully we'll be able to capture the ambient sounds of the footsteps. Hopefully, yes. Lots to explore, and really on the taller buildings here. Spectacular sight of the clouds just in the distance and the Aurora. We have some stairs here, so have a wander down. See what we can see. Slightly different to the hyperworld of New Babbage. Slightly different to the Zen-like floating cities of Orison. We've yet to explore Pyro, so there's a lot to establish in terms of what that ambience provides. It feels like a spectacular sight of mass transit between different districts. So we have some stairs that head down now to the platform. So what we'll do is we'll have a wander around the perimeter. We have different structures, different platforms. There's an opportunity, in fact, to land on some of the other platforms that are part of this environment. Lots of places to land and explore. Gaining a different perspective. This spectacular demonstration of both creativity and solitude. Is indeed the aim of this frontier, to try and capture that solitude. And once again, another view from here, looking out. Impressive industrial district, and obviously these huge buildings, different activities on this Atlex Designs building. Indeed. An area, perhaps environmental control area, ventilation, conditioning. Solitary spec exploring. Some impressive locations. example, this macro to micro to macro detail, shut off equipment sign to these blemishes and marks, all the way to the macro detail of an entire cityscape. That is beyond. It does emphasize the specific degrees of that are part of this. I'm sure these units, these ventilation systems, environmental control units, make up this grand spectacle. Luckily, we're in the light of day here. Movement there from patrons of the verse, but in the light of day, you can see the rays of Stanton trying to get through another spectacular sight. The main building here, the centerpiece of Lorville, interacting with the clouds and the light. Different part of Lorville, as we get ever immersed. A black hole drawing us into the sense of gravitation, powerful gravitational force. Gargantua drawing us into the depth, breadth and detail of these impressive worlds. When you do go to the business district, you do actually pass this statue here. Go to the central business district, and some of the trams you can see bus up into the building. Journey of solitude and wonder, exploration. After this, you can actually walk through the perimeter gate here, but not to fall onto the main area, might fall through. And be a challenge to get back, so let's find the safety of the area here. So different, having a look, gaining a different perspective of Lorville, gaining an alternate way in which you can appreciate the grand sense of scale, specifically the industrial ambience this environment provides. We have some more stairs leading down to another platform. Different control units this time. Suitably protected in our protective suit. So we're okay with temperature. We don't require any nutrition, hydration for the moment. The impressive moment of silence as we capture more view spaces, capture more perspectives of Lorville. Really quite just delve into the ambient silence and solitude of our little journey here, top of the Atlex Designs building. Perfect and rather wondrous example of the scale of micro to macro. Small details and blemishes. The entire arena in display. Slight silent pan round. It's a spectacular view. Culmination of all of the buildings that are certainly a more higher density of buildings here, coupled with the signs of the logistics area, Tisa Spaceport, and various members of the verse coming to and fro, conducting whatever business requirements they might have here in this spectacular display. Just having a zoom of various areas to pan in and explore. Really bringing a sense of silence. So you just have suspended moments as we just get lost. Visual splendor. The journey. Opportunity as well to zoom right in various details. And then another mass transit connecting districts around the entirety of Lorville. Hyperworld, all the individual windows, lights, buildings, impressive view of these superstructures, especially this particular building here, the main building. So I think transitioning now to a light tonight, another spectacular view of the clouds, the light rays, lights reflecting off our viewing helmet, coming through. That's another amazing thing to witness. The impressive immersion, both in the clouds, the relationship between the dance of light, the emerging cosmos, and the spectacular array of buildings that with that impressive sense of immersion. Well, continue on and see what we can see. We have more. We haven't gone through the entire space. One is taken somewhat, especially at night now. You can see the lights beginning to take over. Prominent feature. As we progress. Another day here and around. To take in and lots to absorb. Just to be really captivated by. It represents the essence and the core of the journey. Especially when you're treated by the spectacular lighting. Coupled with the man-made lighting, natural lighting, the verse behind and the clouds. full circle around the Atlex Designs building. There's the 12th-hour investments building in the distance. Such a spectacle as well to see the transition of light to night, daylight to darkness. You just feel the temperate ambience, especially we're so far away from any noise that's part of the verse because we're so high up. So we can see it's a bustle of activity coupled with silence. Spectacular. And an array of industrial areas in the distance. Obviously yet rapid transit system tracks connecting Lorville. Impressive view of both the ejection of ventilation and various byproducts, filtration coupled with the receding light. Yellow hue synonymous with Lorville. As the lights are becoming ever more prominent, it's that special moment, time, that grey zone of early morning and early evening, that specific time where you're greeted by a spectacular dance of light and space. Such is the essence of the journey here, such as the display that we're being treated to, as we can see the prominent hues of yellow becoming gradually ever more visible as the light disappears behind the horizon. It's a world in of itself to be able to just simply absorb these environments. There's the participation also of going about whatever missions you intend to complete, whatever missions, tasking you intend to do. The main focus here is part of the journey is just absorbing the splendor of these worlds that have been created. As we're captivated somewhat by the visual splendor, we allow the lore, the story-making parts of our mind to fill in all the activities that occur in a wonderful illusion, creating this, making this as real as ever. It's a collized digital dream. We're wondering. Well, it's a spectacular display. The presence of light to the disappearance of it. So noted, as we can see now. The light has handed over control. Man-made, human-made light, hue of furnaces that are burning in the distance as well. Various ships coming to and fro as they conduct business here. Impressive sight of seeing the mass highways, transits, systems, traffic connecting districts, more prominent now in the evening. It's quite a good view of zooming in, filling the entire area. The spectacle of Lorville. Blade Runner vibes, perhaps. Wondrous display. And that zooming in technique, trying to capture points of interest and resolve them as we zoom in, it does present a wondrous display. We have the rapid transit system tracks as well. And these huge billboards, digital billboards, promoting messages of the verse. Lorville, more progress here. Buildings are being built, planning, expansion to occur here in Lorville. We seem to be captivated, certainly by this spot here, as we watch the light now gradually disappear, completely overtaken in the presence of darkness. The incredible light display in and around Lorville. Just feel the rather temperate minus, currently 11 degrees, so cool. Essence of that. Coupling of both silence and solitude. Just absorb ambience or journey around this Atlex Designs building here one of the Atlex Designs building. As we're now plunged into practical darkness. Impressive sight of seeing one of the stations in orbit around Hurston. Hurston's natural satellites, coupled with the yellow hue here, the skyline of Lorville. Visual wonders to capture. What we're going to do, I think, is wander around the entire perimeter of the Atlex Design building. More buildings to discover, more perspectives to view, more moments to capture. As we absorb both the micro and macro detail. This unending source of both inspiration as we have a stroll across these futuristic worlds. Truly say the light has diminished, giving way to the verse. Spectacular display. Lightscapes, wonderscapes, dreamlike sequences. But what we'll do now is return back. Return to the Aroura, conclude the session. Precursor for our journey to Pyro. Lots more, many more platforms to discover, but I feel that we can return to Lorville and have a look. More perspectives to gain, especially acting on some of the shorter buildings or smaller areas. Really gaining a perspective looking up and through in the mixture of darkness and light. There are some platforms available to land on in and around the spaces that are offered. I wonder if one can land on the top of the actual Hurston Dynamics building. So many platforms and spaces to explore. But, really just harvest the ambience. Bountiful harvest. Solitude. Inspiration. So we're gifted by these impressive virtual worlds. there we can see. Head off now and see. We can see in terms of our ship. Ready to depart. Through the session when we reach the Aurora. To continue the journey. Blade Runner moment, seeing the furnaces. There are more viewing platforms here. You can actually see the rapid transit system as well make its way, so a mixture of spaces and light. So prominent now as part of the presentation. Lens flares and captivating, very interesting moments. Spectacular view there. On the way down, watching traffic moving to and from, such as the incredible degree intricate detail that is part of this. Question does remain. So our intention is to return back to the Aurora. But our Aurora is not here, nowhere to be found. It's unless it's a problem or unless something has happened. We're missing it. I see some lights in the distance, but I don't see usually we're able to track the location of the Aurora. I'm so distracted. We didn't notice the Aurora. Aurora has decided perhaps it's gone to Pyro. Without us, we can see now we don't have the Aurora. So what we'd have to do is, fortunately there's no way one can actually physically walk back to the site, physically walk back to the spaceport. But the Aurora has gone, unless we're looking at a different place. Let's see. I'm sure that's not the case. It has disappeared. Disappeared. Gone from existence. But, alas, never mind, we're being treated by the spectacle of Lorville skyline at night. So, find a location to close out the session. Spectacular view of the furnaces in the distance, the industry, and again mass transit systems connecting districts. More visible now because obviously we're at night now, so all we have is a light source of the impressive lights emanating from the distant furnaces, the industry sites in the distance, to the spectacular display of lights in and around this space. But we can surely acknowledge that our Aurora is no longer with us. Never mind, we'll find a good spot to close out the session. Just absorb all the enigmatic spaces that are part of this impressive display. Unless we've missed it, no, we haven't missed it. Our helmet should indicate the location of the Aurora, so it does mean the Aurora. So what we'll do is we'll try and find a location and close out the session. Both in the day and in the evening, both look equally as spectacular. Let's try and get a view space now. It really does bring a sense of brilliance, marking both the scale and magnitude of the lights that are part of this nightscape here on Lorville. Such a display and demonstration of detail, lighting, depth, graphical fidelity. We stand in the essence of awe as represented by this exceptional display. We'll try and locate a view that's positive, enlightening, and we'll close out the session, I feel like. Over here is much better. Sandy area allowing us to perch at the top and get a really impressive view of Lorville. This concludes the session. The journey on one of the buildings, many perspectives, looking down, absorbing both the receding light, capturing moments as we enamored by the impressive display of this complex and intriguing space here in Lorville, somewhere in Hurston. But in the next session, once we retrieve our Aurora, our character, Jared Newton's going to have to make his way back to the Tisa spaceport and get to the ASOP terminal. It's going to be a long way. Transit systems, hitching rides, paying for taxis, using whatever viable and appropriate method of transport to get back. Aurora has disappeared, but we're still in the basking in the eloquence of both visual splendors and, notably in this instance, silence of our environment as we continue our adventure. But this concludes for the moment our journey at precursor to Pyro. Next session, definitely going to the Pyro system. One is tempted almost to have a look and explore some of the other buildings, touch on down on some of the other platforms, but we'll do that. We come back from Pyro, obviously no structure in terms of what we're doing, but our main focus in this instance is to capture the splendor of the latest addition to the verse. As always, this is Falcon's Frontier. We'll leave you now with the sight, the flashing lights, the bustle of activity here in the metropolis that is defined by the incredible visual landscapes offered here at Lorville. This is Falcon's Frontier wishing you a safe and inspirational journey onward. Till next time.